is the Parallax Scrolling Podcast, broadcasting to you straight from the bowels of hell.
Featuring smooth jazz.
It's jazz with a hint of spikes.
Hello, Internet. I'm Matt.
And I'm Monster Punter.
And this is the Parallax Scrolling Podcast, where we give you our perspective on video games and the news that affects them. How you doing this week?
This week has been very hectic.
Yeah.
I don't know, I hate to say the same thing every week, but, I'm in this period in work where it doesn't give me a whole lot of time to do many other things. So the things that I do have to be very deliberate and deliberate and with a lot of purpose. So, I've tried a new game this week. It's an old game, PS4 remake of a PS3 game that someone who will remain nameless for now has recommended to me on, let's just say, more than 10 occasions. And it's Legend of Heroes Trials of Cold Steel, if you like role-playing games. I have yet to play it enough to really pass judgment, so it is a role-playing game. It's really all I want to say about it right now. Other than that, have been playing more BattleTech on the PC, and I'm starting to get some bigger mechs, and I'm starting to be able to do some things, so that's going well. My friends have picked up Madden. I've actually been tempted to buy Madden this year.
Really?
I've been tempted to buy Madden. I have not. I love football, and I love the NFL 2K franchise so much that when they got rid of when EA bought the rights to NFL football, and they became the only ones able to make NFL football, it saddened me, and I vowed to never buy a Madden game. I broke down and bought one in 2010. 5 years. I waited 5 years to buy a Madden game. And then I didn't play it too much. And here I am, 12 years past that point, and I'm like, I would really love to play a simulation football game again. It's been a long time. And everybody who's been playing it year in and year out tells me the same thing. Don't buy it. And so I haven't. And I'm sure if I ask them again, which I've gone on PSN and they are always playing that game. And then I talk to them, it's like, how do you like the game? Game sucks. Okay, well,
we keep playing it, so why you...
Like, don't bother. But, part of me doesn't... I would do the franchise mode. I don't have any interest in doing the Ultimate Madden Team, I think it's called, or Madden Ultimate Team, where that's like the pay version of it, and you can dump a lot of money into it. And listen, man, all I want to do is, hit somebody, throw the ball around. Can I do those kind of things? I don't want to. Tecmo Super Bowl still burns within me.
I was gonna say I'm not an avid football fan like you are, but there's only 3 football games that have been like I loved playing. NFL 2K,
Excellent game.
yeah. NFL Blitz,
Of course.
because I would always do a flying body drop on somebody every balls down. Who cares? Whee!
Who doesn't do that?
I know, but it's fun. And probably this one might surprise you. 10-Yard Fight for the Nintendo.
That game was terrible.
That game was awesome. I loved it.
Oh my god.
It was my first, honestly, it was my first foray into football. And as simple as it was something I was able to dedicate time to. The only thing about it was like many of those early Nintendo games, there was no soundtrack except for when the ball got punted.
See, the thing is that in 10-yard fight, it's like you control the whole line of people. It was really weird. Like let's be honest here. The pre-Nintendo era of sports games, and even the Nintendo era was not that good. The 16-bit era ushered in like, excuse you, decent games, and except for Tecmo Football or Tecmo Super Bowl. That game was great.
Pro wrestling was awesome. Starman was my guy. My brother played. Okay, here's the thing. This is a game myself and my two brothers and my father played. We played together. So I would play Starman. My next oldest brother would play the Piranha. My oldest brother would then play Jaguar. And my dad actually played, I forget his name, but he had long blonde hair and he had the backbreaker move. And dude, we had fun. And one time we actually tried to sit down and go through campaign mode. And that is insanely hard.
I wasn't thinking about wrestling when I was thinking sports. I was thinking your traditional, your big four, the ones that people gravitate to.
Curling,
your baseball,
luge,
yeah, of course. Jeez, who could forget curling?
Table tennis and bowling.
Don't you dare mock bowling. Either way, I'm talking about baseball, football, basketball, and hockey.
Never heard of them.
Actually, I think Blades of Steel was really good. So there was Blades of Steel, Tecmo Super Bowl, and there was probably a baseball. There was a baseball game with rabbits that was actually really good.
Actually, I think at some point we should probably do our like we did the top 10 JRPGs. I think we should do our top 10 sports games.
It would be a very short list.
Well, it would be 10.
But so all I'm saying is that before like the Nintendo and those few good ones, like Double Dribble was good on there too. But other than those few games, sports games before the 16-bit era were really bad, except for maybe baseball. I actually did play baseball on the Intellivision, and that's actually, for its time, a halfway decent baseball game.
Yeah, well, baseball for Nintendo was also pretty good too.
Yeah.
Nothing compared to what you're dealing with now or advances in the genre, but still, it's good for what it was. So real quick, I'll get into me, so we can get into what we actually want to talk about today. I've also had a bit of I can't even talk. I had a pretty crazy week, pretty hectic. Lots of extra tasks kept getting thrown on me. Made it kind of hard to put up a video. I didn't get a video up. And yeah, I kind of wanted to do that. So hopefully I'll get some more videos up this week. But game-wise, I've had a chance to play some more Axiom Verge 2. Got stuck in a couple spots in some really... Like, it was kind of one of those, like... I spent forever trying to figure out where to go. And then when I finally figured it out, because I had to look up online, sadly, it was like, you should have known this all along. How? How am I supposed to know? Like, how am I supposed to know this ability to climb walls also climbs this one dude's face? Like, how am I supposed to know that? But I've been playing that. I've been playing some more Fell Seal. That's getting hard, actually. Like, I'm not entirely sure. I might be getting near the end. So it's kind of a short-ish game, I think. Otherwise, I'm opening a can of worms I'm not prepared for. One thing I never mentioned about the game is when you start it, you actually get to customize the difficulty. Or you can choose one of the preset ones. I chose Veteran because I'm a veteran tactics player. These enemies are smart. They are not stupid. They will use healing items on each other. They will heal each other. They will gun down your weakest characters. They will use abilities and tactics that you're allowed to access that are just broken and stupid. And it's like, wow! It's actually getting hard! But it's still fun. I'm still having a blast with it. It's just the difficulty stuff, the climbing.
I missed the sale on that, and that game is like $50 now with this.
Is it $50?
It's $30 for the game and $20 for the expansion.
Oh yeah, and the expansion. Yeah, the expansion got me some cool monsters. I got some pretty cool ones.
So I'll check it out when it's on sale again. I have no interest in paying $50 for it.
Right, understandable. But yeah, other than that, I've been playing some more. When I have a chance, I've been playing some more Super Metroid ROM hacks. Like they actually like rewrite the world. These people have done such an amazing job. They like recode and resprite and rework the original game, and it's magical, you know. And some of them are just amazing. Played one though, and I got to a point where I'm like, this is doo-doo. I can't play this anymore. And it's a shame because it's like one of the top-rated hacks on Metroid Construction. That is the website where you get most of these. And it's called Temple of the Winds. And it's about Samus going down to this planet to grab ancient Chozo artifacts, which is cool and all. But there's a lot of puzzling, like trying to figure out how to beat things and where to find things and locate stuff. And so they give you like these little hint books you can pick up, but they're all cryptic and you can't figure it out. And then like some of the backgrounds are designed in such a way that like, oh, you're supposed to go inside the temple here where you need to go through the side on the door, but you can't see the door just by looking at it. And meanwhile, there's this boss that just like literally sits on your character and you just eat your health away. I'm like, I just got frustrated. I'm like, no, I'm done. Which is a shame because there were some cool elements to that game that particular hack. But yeah, so other than that, not exciting video game playing week, but definitely an exciting week nonetheless. Okay, news time.
Speaking of exciting,
okay, you have some stuff. You got the full list, and you're gonna give it to me. So go ahead and take it away, Monster.
The full list for the Sega Genesis Mini 2 released this week, and the games on this list, dare I say, run the gambit of from amazing to what the hell were they thinking? Either way, it's going to look like the Sega Genesis Model 2, which if you're for people
so it will look different from the Mini 1.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
The Mini 1 is the original Sega Genesis look.
Right.
The Mini 2 is the revised Sega Genesis look, which back in the day was a very unfortunate thing. When they remodeled it, Sega actually went cheaper in some of the components, especially the sound chip. Mm-hmm. The sound chip in the Sega Genesis Mini, the original from the 90s, is clearly inferior to the original in the sound department.
I still got the original.
And so, putting all that aside, I mean, this is a mini console, so it's cool to have both of them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the sound thing doesn't really matter anymore. But for people who have the Sega Genesis Mini 2 still, which I would probably number, you'd have to be one of the probably end up in a lot of collectors' hands nowadays. That's one of the bad things about it. But I'm not going to hit every game on this list, but I do want to point out some really good ones.
Okay.
And the list goes from A to Z, so we'll just go from A to Z.
Sure.
Afterburner 2. That is a great arcade playing shooter. Well worth your time.
Yep.
One of the classics from that era. The Bonanza Brothers is an interesting choice.
I've played Bonanza Brothers, and it's not bad, but I don't...
Yeah. Here's an interesting one that was on there. Clay Fighter. That's not a particularly great game.
But it is classic because people do love the original Clay Fighter. The sequels were abysmal.
Oh, the Clay Fighter 63 and the third was... Oh, my God.
Oh!
That was bad.
Yes, it was.
Crusader of Senti.
Yeah.
Now, for anybody who likes classic Zelda games, and I'm talking the original Legend of Zelda... Top down, the Zelda, A Link to the Past, that kind of game, Crusader of Senti will definitely fulfill that itch.
Right.
It's really, really good. And I think it's unfortunate that there's never been any others.
Oh.
Desert Strike. Now, Desert Strike is an interesting one.
That's the chopper one, right?
Yeah, you fly around with the chopper. I played a lot of that one back in the day. And it's fun for a while.
Yeah.
But it kind of does lose it. Earthworm Jim 2.
Number 2.
Earthworm Jim 2. Earthworm Jim, I believe, is on the first Sega Genesis Mini.
Nice.
So if you get both of them, you have both of them. And Earthworm Jim 2 is while not as good as the first game, still super high quality and awesome. Here's another one that I thought was really like a weird addition to the list, and that's Fatal Fury 2.
I don't think so.
The Genesis port of that game, though.
It's Fatal Fury 2, though.
I mean, Fatal Fury 2 is fun.
Yeah.
Especially on the Neo Geo. But, Yeah. Another classic, Golden Axe 2.
Yeah.
Golden Axe 2 is a great beat 'em up. And if you want a good medieval beat 'em up from the past, you just go and you be the dwarf and you just start killing everybody.
I was going to say, I did enjoy one more, but they're both really good.
Yes. Herzog's Way.
Herzog's Zwei, yes.
Zwei. Sorry.
Yes. Well, that's German for 2. Okay. Yeah.
Where's the first one?
I guess, don't ask me.
All right, well. Isn't it supposed to be the first of its kind? It's to usher in the... Oh, how do you put it? Like your real-time strategy games?
I guess. I mean, I haven't had much experience with it, but it's one of those, I can vaguely remember it, but I've also played, a bajillion other games, and they all kind of filled up the databanks. So trying to remember everything about Herzog is a little much.
Here's a couple additions to the list that I personally really like. I don't play a lot of racing games.
No.
But Outrun and Outrunners.
Ooh.
Those are really awesome classic arcade
Outrun
racing games.
is pretty cool. Outrun
and, the Sega Genesis port of the arcade one doesn't come close to being as good as the arcade. But the fact that you could still play it on this list is really good. And then with Outrunners, it's 2-player. And you could race against each other.
Nice.
And so, me and my brother did that an awful lot growing up. So, the next one on the list is Phantasy Star 2. And
good. About time.
We talked about this at length in the top 10.
Yeah.
It's one of my top 10 games.
The fact that honestly, the fact that it took so long to go onto a mini is kind of surprising.
Well, they put 4 on the
right.
The
I'm surprised
mini.
they didn't do 2 first on the mini 1 and then 4. Because I figured 2 had a bigger calling, or group. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, whatever.
Here's an interesting one, though. Populous.
Hello, my people. I give you food. Now fight to the death. Do it. No? Meteors. Ah!
I thought that was a really interesting addition.
It is a very interesting addition.
I never played it back in the day. That's really good. Here's one. Ranger X, right? I never got to play Ranger X, but all the video I've seen of Ranger X looks really good. It's a shmup, a shoot 'em up.
Really?
Or yeah.
I honestly I don't remember Ranger X, so.
But I've heard nothing but great things about it, so I wanted to bring it up.
Okay.
Here's a platformer that I think has been forgotten in time that is actually really good, and that's Rystar.
Rystar, yeah. Rystar's pretty good.
I mean, he didn't have spectacular abilities. You put him next to Sonic, and you're like, okay, Sonic's way better. But as far as a platformer is concerned, it was still a really high quality game. In a world where Sonic didn't exist, Rystar could have been the mascot for Sega.
Yeah,
and
easily.
The stretchy arms and everything else. I think it would have been great. Rolling Thunder 2.
Ooh. Okay.
I played a lot of Rolling Thunder.
1.
The original. So I'm actually really looking forward to playing this one because I never got to play number 2.
Okay.
And so in that same vein, the side scroll, like walking, kind of shooting and things like that. Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi.
That's Shinobi 3, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one where he got the dog.
Yes, it is. I remember that's a great game. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. But that's
Brutally hard.
I rented that and beat it in a weekend. Me and my brother sat and played it till we beat it.
It's not as hard as its predecessors, but it's hard. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, I had for me to scrap together $5 to rent a game.
Yeah.
And you only had it for 3 days.
You made it count.
Yep. And we made it count. We beat that one. They put the first one of this series on the original Sega Genesis Mini, and they've brought actually more than one to the Sega Genesis Mini 2 in this amazing series that if you have not played it yet, do yourself a favor and play it. Shining Force 2.
Yep, it's amazing.
It's old school strategy role-playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, compared to a lot of those today, I mean, maybe it's a little antiquated, but the story, the characters, they're strong. It's just really good.
And that one's loaded with secret characters. Number 2 is loaded with secret characters.
You get to have 12 people on the battlefield at a time.
Yeah, I think the first one was like, what, 10 or 8?
8, I want to say.
Yeah, it was something small, much smaller.
Yeah, it's so the fights are massive in scale. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one of the games that made your list, Shining in the Darkness.
Yes.
So I didn't put Shining in the Darkness on my list because I actually never did beat the game.
Now you have no excuse.
Fine, I'll beat the game.
It's a great game, and it's worth it.
You know, when I first saw the next one I'm going to mention, I was not a big fan of it.
Right.
I'm like, if I'm going to play this game, I want it to be what I know. This makes no sense to me. Sonic 3D Blast made the list.
I think that's good. I think everyone should play Sonic 3D Blast at least once, because man, is that hard to control.
It is really hard to control, and it just didn't feel like the sense of speed. To me, Sonic didn't feel like Sonic in that game.
Now I agree. Was Sonic Spinball in the first one?
I can't recall off the top of my head.
I wish Sonic Spinball would be on one of them.
I have to double check. I can check today.
Yeah.
But here's one that made the list that I'm really surprised about. Splatterhouse 2.
Yeah.
This was
Splatterhouse and Splatterhouse 2 were amazing.
You know, honestly, in a world before Mortal Kombat, I think it came out before Mortal Kombat.
It did come out before Mortal Kombat.
In the world before Mortal Kombat, this was the game that was getting parents to talk about violence in video games.
Right, because it was a game literally based off of old slasher horror films.
Yeah. You even had a mask like the Jason movies.
Yeah. But yeah, it was Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat showed you murdering people, where Splatterhouse was just, hey, run around and whack zombies and gross things. They could get away with it in a sense and argue against no, it's not that violent. You're not fighting real people.
The best fighting game on this list, hands down, Super Street Fighter 2, The New Challengers. The Sega Genesis version of this game was excellent. It was the first, and I think maybe the only 40 megabit cartridge that ever came out on the Sega Genesis during its actual life. It might be a different story now with homebrew stuff, but at the time that cartridge was massive and a price to go with it. But there was so much packed into that.
Yeah,
amazing, great version of Street Fighter 2. Well worth your time.
Now I'm kind of looking over your shoulder, and it looks like you glossed over a game that I'm surprised you didn't mention.
What's that?
One underneath Splatterhouse.
Oh, yeah, Streets of Rage 3.
Streets of Rage 3. I beat that game with Shiva.
You kind of have to, though. That game was hard.
I know.
That game was really hard.
But here's the thing. That was literally one of those where you're like, in most video games when you're playing, you're like, hey, I'm going to fight I'm going to fight this boss, and I'm going to get him on my side, and he is 10 times worse than he was as a boss. That was the complete opposite case in Streets of Rage 3. Shiva was the first boss. You whooped him, and then he was a beast through the whole game. He was disgusting. I loved it.
But it was not nearly as good as 2.
No, it's not. But it's not bad.
Here's an interesting one. Toe Jam and Earl Panic on Funkatron. I played through it at one point. I thought it was a decent side-scroll platformer, and I think it's worth it if you want to play it. The next one on the list is Truxton.
Okay, I love Truxton. Truxton's a great
top-down shooter, shoot 'em up.
It was satisfying to play, like really satisfying to shoot down ships and stuff. The bullets felt good compared to most shmups. It felt great.
It's a great one.
Yeah. Can you go over... Yeah, that one.
The Revenge of Shinobi made the list, too.
And I'm going to be upset if it's not the original.
Because... Well, no, Shinobi was on the first Sega
No,
Genesis
not the first Shinobi. The first Revenge of Shinobi. Because they had to change it because of copyright issues.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the original, you fought... Ready for this? The Terminator... who was first Rambo. Like, he was Rambo, and then he turned into the Terminator. Godzilla, who turned into Mechagodzilla. Spider-Man, who turned into Batman. And I'm forgetting all the other ones, but those were, like, the big ones, and it's just like, this is awesome! And then, like, because of copyrights, people started getting like, "Oh, you can't have our characters anymore." Why? I mean, so they made weird, like, pseudo bizarro versions of those characters. I'm like, no, it's not the same feel. So I would be happy if it was the original version of it.
Virtua Racing made the list. That's a quality game.
Virtua Racing, man.
Yeah, Virtua Racing's good. One of the original 3D racing games. It looks like you would expect an early 3D racing game to look, but it's fun. Echo the Dolphin and Echo Tides of Time, but they're the Sega CD versions, not the Genesis versions.
Yeah, so it's really smooth and really pretty and really fast.
Yeah. I never really played Echo the Dolphin back in the day, but that one had a cult following at that point.
Oh, I played it. We had it. Or actually, no, I think I still have it. But yeah, we played it and got all the way to the end, and it wasn't until I think I spent like half an hour in the final boss room before I figured out how to actually fight the final boss. Because you don't fight anything in the entire game. You're running for your life pretty much. And then finally you get to the alien spaceship, and you have to use your sonar to destroy parts of the ship. There's no clue given to you whatsoever.
That's like par for the course for old games.
It is, but just the way they did it, it's just like, are you kidding me, man?
Here's a really good one too. A Final Fight CD.
Oh.
Final Fight is just a quality old school beat 'em up, and so there's not really much to say there. Here's the one that I found was really weird that they added to the list, and this is not one I played back in the day. But if you like Myst and you like Riven, those kind of things, there's Mansion of Hidden Souls. I don't know much past that because those types of games are not really for me.
Yeah, Myst gave me headaches as a kid. Yeah. I loved it, but it gave me headaches.
And like I said, I said this list goes from awesome to what were they thinking. Night Trap is on here.
Yep, because Night Trap has gained a cult following.
Oh my gosh, man, no, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. All right, that's all I have to say about that.
Look, Kimberly Drummond is running around fighting something bizarro. It's I can't even argue. I can't even defend it.
It's not good. Another one that makes the what were they thinking list was Sewer Shark.
I can't argue that. Yeah.
What were they thinking? Sewer Shark is... I maybe they put it on this list because it was the packing game with the Sega CD once upon a time. You want to know why Sega CD didn't do great? And I love the Sega CD. Packing a game like Sewer Shark makes everybody run away.
I can't argue.
But I know why they did it back in the day. It was the first of its kind. Well, not
was
really
like-
the
it was
first.
like
I shouldn't say the
FMV-ish,
first. I
yeah.
shouldn't say the first of its kind, but there was that time in video games where the suits thought that people were going to love FMV games, and everybody thought they were going to love FMV games or full motion video games until they played them, and then it was.
I have to remember there's a game I played on the PlayStation 1, and it blew me away at the time, not because of what it was, but because of how hilarious it was and how much the game made fun of itself. Like, it did, like, the whole, like, FMV, we got a serious situation, we got actors who are playing parts, and they're doing their thing. Meanwhile, there's literally a row of seats at the bottom of the screen and some dudes sitting in the seats, and Mystery Science Theater style, and they're sitting there and they're ripping on the movies. And then when you're playing the game, they're ripping on the game the entire time.
Nice.
And it is so funny. It was so good. I wish I could remember the name of that one.
Shining Force CD is another quality Shining Force game, and definitely highly recommended.
And I was going to say, we got to clarify, Shining Force CD is not Shining Force 1 on the Sega CD.
Yes, correct. This is its own game.
It's a completely different title.
Yeah. Here's one that when I saw it made the list, I was genuinely surprised and happy, and that is Sylphid.
Yeah.
That is a classic shmup, and at the time, to describe the graphics at the time, when I was originally playing this, I was blown away by the 3D effects in this game.
Yeah.
For a Sega CD game, the 3D effects are amazing. I later learned that it's all scripted and maybe not as impressive looking back at it, but I tell you what, 12-year-old me thought this was amazing. All right, and to this day, that's going to be one of the first games I fire up when I get my Sega Genesis Mini 2 is Sylphid. It's going to be great. Of course, it wouldn't be a Sega CD collection on there if you didn't include Sonic the Hedgehog CD.
I had that on computer, and I would load that up just to listen to the intro. Sonic boom, Sonic boom, Sonic boom. And I was just sitting there as a little kid, just grooving to the song in the computer chair, watching the little cartoon as Sonic is zipping around a land I never got to run around in ever.
True.
Yeah, but that was a great game.
And the Ninja Wars, which is a pretty good side-scrolling beat 'em up.
That was original on Super Nintendo.
Yep.
And that did you know they actually remade that?
Recently,
yes.
yeah.
And they added characters to play.
Yeah.
And they added for the first time ever co-op.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, co-op Ninja Warriors. That's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then they have some bonus games on here.
Like what?
The only one I think is worth mentioning is a lot of stuff that probably just came out in Japan. But Space Harrier 2.
And Space Harrier. It's both of them.
Yeah.
So that's, dude, Space Harrier 2. I love Space Harrier 2. So bizarre, but so cool. That was like one of the first Genesis games I ever played.
Yeah. And then they also, actually, you know what, they put Puyo Puyo in here, which is good that there's at least a puzzle game in the list.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so that's over 60 games on the Sega Genesis Mini. I think well worth picking up. It comes with a 6-button controller, and I think there's something on there for everybody.
Well, speaking of something for everybody, I have also some Sega news.
Oh.
Are you ready for this? Sega has teamed up with Picture Start for some new movies. Because you know how Sonic has been doing Sonic the Hedgehog 1 did really well. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 did really well. They're actually working on the third movie. You ready for this?
What's that?
They're working on Space Channel 5 and Comic Zone.
Okay. Comic Zone is an amazing Sega Genesis game. That
would do well as a movie.
Yes, and it's tragic that there's never been a sequel to that game.
True. Space Channel 5. Meh.
I don't know what to say about Space Channel 5.
I tell you what, the one time I tried to play, was it the first one or the second one? I think it was the second one I tried to play on the Dreamcast, and I was like, okay, crazy lady. I couldn't do it.
Space Channel 5, for those who have never heard nor seen Space Channel 5, imagine a Michael Jackson
It's a dancing game.
audio video or a video where he has all those people dancing with him, and that's basically Space Channel 5.
Actually, I think he's actually in one of them.
He is in one of them.
Yeah. Miles actually appeared in a lot of games. He was in Ready to Rumble Boxing.
Really?
Yeah, he was a hidden character.
Uh,
Yeah, weird, right? So we got some other big news, but I got one more little side piece I wanted to drop on you. Guild Wars 2 is dropping on Steam August 23rd.
They had their own client for that beforehand, right?
Yeah, they still do. But they're going to add Steam. They're going to allow people to play it through Steam now, too. I think that's actually really cool. Guild Wars 2 is an amazing MMO.
My feelings on Steam are... I how do I put it? It's almost a monopoly on... Not on PC games in a sense, but where you go to buy them. And, I just wish there was better competition out there. I realize that there's the Epic Games Store.
Well, I was gonna say, more like Good Old Games. GOG is.
Oh, Good Old Games too.
They are a big. They are a big group. But Humble Bundle is also a massive group, and they also do charity bundles. Which reminds me, my friend told me yesterday that all the Resident Evil games, including 8, you can get for $30 on Humble Bundle right now.
Okay. Should probably do that.
Yeah. So I just figured I'd let you know about that. So yeah, but I think this is exciting news. I still love the game, and it'd be nice to be able to like connect with my friends who played it originally, knowing that they're on Steam and having a chance to be like, hey, let's just run around and fart around in this game for a little bit. Not a big deal. Let's play. So
they're bringing Phantasy Star, online. Or not online. What's the new one called?
Phantasy Star New Genesis.
New Genesis. That's it. I forgot. It's coming over to PlayStation as well now.
Oh, cool.
So not only is it on Xbox, it's on there, and I've been meaning to give that game an actual real.
I still have it. I still have it on Steam actually. So
yeah.
All right. So we're running out of time because we want to do a little bit of a shorter episode today, but we do want to talk about this group. Let's just talk about this group. So I'm going to start with this story, and I'm going to lead it into you, and you can take off with the information from here. Middle-earth Enterprises, the holding company for all of J.R.R. Tolkien's titles, has been sold to Embracer Group. Now, we've talked about Embracer Group before. They picked up a lot of THQ Nordic games, Tomb Raider, a bunch of huge IPs within the past month. Mm-hmm. So... At first, this was cool. Now it's a little concerning for me. But, Monster, I'm going to let you take this one. Give us some info on Embracer Group, please.
Embracer Group is probably quite possibly the largest group of developers, or they own the largest group of developers outside of probably EA now, and definitely bigger than Microsoft and Sony. They own 11 operative groups. And keep in mind, this is like a group of investors, Swedish investors, I believe is where it started. And over time, they've acquired 120 studios that owns 850 intellectual properties. This is a huge, huge company now.
Yeah.
And they've kind of just been death by 1,000 cuts. They've just been buying little ones here and there. They own like THQ, for instance.
Yeah.
It's like huge studios. It's amazing what they have. They have the ones we mentioned the other day. The Crystal Dynamics.
Yep.
Gearbox.
They got Gearbox now?
Yeah.
So Borderlands?
Borderlands is part of Embracer Group.
See, okay, here's the scary thing for me with this whole thing. At this point, literally, Embracer Group could go, hey, guess what? Here comes the next Embracer machine. And all their titles are going to go into their machine. They could try to pull that. And that'd be devastating, I think, for the industry.
But you know how much
I don't think that would offer healthy competition.
I don't see them ever doing a video game console. I just don't see it. I'm entering the world of pure speculation based on absolutely nothing right now.
Yes.
I don't know how many more console generations we have left.
What do you mean?
I think eventually the cloud will be where everybody plays their games. As much as I hate that idea, if they can figure out the latency issue with cloud gaming, it could be. Now, keep in mind that latency will never be zero, so maybe I'm wrong, but how do I put it? I could easily see Microsoft not having a difference between the Xbox and PC at some point in the future. Hear me out, right? Because when you buy Game Pass still distinctly has a PC platform and an Xbox platform, right? But what if the next Xbox or the one after that is purely just actually it is a PC as it is, but what if they just really made it a PC that people could just use, and you access the Microsoft app to have access to all these games? It would be an instant competitor to Steam, but I don't know. I'm pure speculation based on nothing, but I could see Microsoft doing something like that where they kind of wanting to go in a direction where, you know, they care about selling you Game Pass more than anything else, and if it's easier to just sell you one product over many different devices, why not make all those devices able to be basically running the same software? They would simplify it.
Why do you sound opposed to this, monster? Why? Why are you not part of the hive mind like the rest of us? Join us. Join Skynet.
I just want to play good games.
Yeah, but it's messed up. On the one hand, it's cool to know that they're going after IPs that the big companies are just tossing away. But at the same time, I find that a little scary that they're having all of the IPs.
Yeah, I mean, they own Deus Ex.
They own Tomb Raider. They own Darksiders.
They own.
Which,
so
I mean, if they put out if they actually complete the story to Darksiders, I might forgive them.
Think about this: they were founded in 2016.
They're only 6 years old. Wow,
6 years old, and they have
that much.
Yeah, they have. I don't even know. Like, my head is about to explode. But
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's crazy. Absolutely nuts.
I'll be honest. When we first started talking about Embracer Group, I was like, "Oh, cool! This little upstart company coming out of nowhere got some IPs. Awesome! They're gonna bring some of my favorite, IPs back. Cool!" And now it's like they've actually been this secret organization the entire time.
Whatever. All I'm gonna say is they used to be Gizmo. They've drinking some. They've eaten after
they're a Mogwai.
Yeah, and now they've turned into gremlins.
Gosh. Hopefully not Stripe or Spike.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of a lot for us to take in. But yeah. Give us your thoughts on what we've been talking about today in the comments down below. Are you excited for those games on the Mini too?
I am.
What do you think about the movies? Give us some insight on that. And then let us know what you think about Embracer Group. Are you excited for this? Are you worried about it like we are? Again, let us know in the comments.
One last thing.
Yes.
Dragon Ball Superhero, really good.
Yes, it's a really awesome movie. Awesome time. Beyond that, though, thank you guys so much for listening. Right now you're on YouTube. You're watching it, technically. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Just thank you for all the support you guys give us. Really saw just a massive amount of support on our top 10 JRPGs, and that was really exciting to hear.
Subscribe, comment.
Yeah, give us all the things. Keep the support up. We love you guys. We appreciate it so much. But yeah, we should get out of here. So just thank you guys again. As for me, I am Matt Finish. You can Find me on YouTube. I'm still going to put videos up. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be Matt Finish. I keep thinking about the name change, and then I stall on it. I don't know why. You can find Monster_Punter on Twitter. Give him game recommendations, because he's going to be beating Elden Ring soon. And he just dealt with the people's elbow, for those of you who know. So he's close. You're actually coming up on my favorite area of the game. So
Okay.
that's kind of exciting. Have yourselves a fantastic day. We'll see you in the next one.
Take care.
Later.